Let's get that turned off. What up, everybody? Today I'm going to be answering your burning questions about my Tuttio Sole 01. So we're not going to cover any of the basic stuff. Yes, we know the bike technically it can wheelie. We're going to talk a little bit more of future modifications, me going forward with the Tuttio, the issues, problems, things I've had with it, kind of just like a rundown of how everything's been going with the Tuttio, because this is an awesome bike. It is a budget bike, and being a budget bike, there are some issues with that. So we're just going to run down, do some riding, talk about that a little bit, and yeah, sit back, enjoy this video, and let's get into it. Hey, what up, everybody? So we got some talking to do about the Tuttio. Just disclaimer, I do have mine tuned, so I do get closer to the 45 miles an hour, but my battery life is also trash because of that. For me, I'm like closer to 170 pounds. I sit about 5'10"-ish, so sitting on the bike is fairly comfortable. It's really nice. It's really maneuverable, I guess is the proper term. But once you get up there in the weights, the Tuttio does start to feel it. Acceleration on the Tuttio is not the best. It takes a couple seconds. Let's go to 0. Sweet. We're sitting at 0. Like I said, I do have my bike tuned. Let's do a quick speed run. Let's see if I can hit 40 before that sign. 23, 25, 27. Yeah, no, was not going to hit 40. Oop, ran that stop sign. But yeah, so the more weight you have on you, you will definitely start to feel it in the Tuttio. Yeah, so speed-wise, if you're looking for just a speed demon right out of the box, I would not recommend it. Also, we're going to talk about upgrades, and there's a really big problem with upgrades for the Tuttio, but we'll cover that here in a second. But if you do have a Tuttio or plan on buying the Tuttio, I would highly recommend you guys stay or at least skip to that point and watch it, because a lot of people are running into this issue. But yeah, also, those of you guys who are subscribed, and did all that stuff, thank you so much. And those of you guys who use the links down below, I appreciate it. I appreciate it so much. So, Tuttio. One of the first issues I will say about this bike is the fact that the bolts out of the factory have no Loctite, and this bike is a living death trap. So when you do buy the Tuttio, if you do still decide to buy it, you're going to want to make sure you go ahead. Your brake bolts, you're going to want to go ahead, tighten those guys up for sure. Tighten both of your axles for sure, and your headset. Because from the factory, the Tuttio there's no thread locker. The only thing holding this bike together is your hopes and prayers. So it can be really sketchy right out of the box, which is not okay. Also, another thing about this, the Tuttio that I would say is a big issue is because it is a Chinese bike, it is definitely going to be affected by tariffs. And so one of the biggest selling points about the Tuttio is the fact that because it is such a cheap bike, you're not really that worried about putting money into upgrades and whatnot. Ooh. Also, another thing I hate about the Tuttio, the kickstand sucks and has almost killed me like 4 times. But one thing about the Tuttio is that it is because it is a Chinese bike, getting parts, dealing with the company is not the best. The customer service was pretty good to start off with, but as more people get the bike, they have less resources. It's gotten a little bit harder to deal with like customer service and whatnot. Also, that leads me to the next point about the Tuttio is tariffs. Tariffs have ruined the Tuttio because before it was one of those things where like you drop a little bit of money on the Tuttio, you eventually go through, upgrade said Tuttio, and you have really awesome e-bike. Well, one big issue with that is most of the parts for the Tuttio come from China. Well, all the parts for the Tuttio come from China, which means all the parts for the Tuttio, all the parts for the Tuttio are getting a lot more expensive. Like the batteries, originally like $600-700 depending on what you got in your shipping payment. Currently you're potentially looking at closer to if the tariffs and everything go through and they don't have any stock in the US, you could be looking at closer to $1,000, $1,200 for just the upgraded battery. And part of the issue with that is all the parts and stuff for the Tuttio come from overseas, the China, which means everything's about to get more expensive just to maintain your Tuttio, which is not a good thing because the shit's expensive, really. But ooh, yay, wheelie. That is one thing, because everything's gonna get more expensive. Those of you who already bought it, it might not be so bad for you guys to do the upgrade stuff, but for those of you guys looking to get the bike, I know on their website, it's already $200 more than when I bought it. I think I paid like closer to $1,100 for my Tuttio. I think last time I looked on their website, they're already up to like 13 for like the lowest package, which kind of one of those things that like, it kind of sucks to be honest with you, because like it's already cranking up in price and it's only been like a week. So like by next month, I easily see the Tuttio being a $1,500 bike. And honestly, I don't think the Tuttio is worth it for being, I don't think I would buy the Tuttio for $1,500, especially because of the fact that now there is not, as of right now, there's no American mod companies for the Tuttio, which kind of sucks. See that? Almost killed me. Almost died. Fuck. Oh, excuse my language. But that was sketchy. That is also one thing. A lot of the parts on this you're gonna want to replace. There's a lot of people talking about this bracket that holds the pegs is not as sturdy, and these brake levers are made of some weird forged, not really high quality material. So as you can see, my one over here has all the wobble to it. It's pretty bad. This one is bent, and there's not really a good aftermarket option for them. Some people in the groups have found them, but yeah, it's kind of lame. There's not a big community for aftermarket parts yet, and that is one flaw I currently have with the Tuttio, because you know. But yeah, also if you guys watched it this long in the video, thank you so much, I appreciate it. So next thing I'm gonna talk about with the Tuttio is the legality. As you guys know, total I have like 4 e-bikes. The Tuttio was my 3rd e-bike. All of my other e-bikes are legal in some way, shape, or form. They're legal. I can ride them and kind of not get in trouble for riding it. The Tuttio is not like that whatsoever. Because the Tuttio does not have pedals, it is classified as a off-road vehicle, And really, there's no way to make it more legal, something like my X2 or my RoadRunner, which kind of sucks a bit, because I like ripping this thing, but I'm not trying to get it impounded, because as you guys know, right now, cops, especially in California and New York, are having a field day with e-bikers, especially ones on Surron style e-bikes like the Tuttio. So one thing I definitely would recommend, if you're buying a Tuttio, you're definitely going to want to make your bike as legal as possible, which is part of the reason why I have my headlight up here. I have my tail majigger down there, and my tail light. Also, put a tail light on your Tuttio, because just doing that simple mod will make you a little bit more legal. Also, put a license plate bracket back there. Don't actually need the license plate, but having the bracket and some sort of tail light will definitely help you out in the long run. Really quick, we're gonna go ahead, cut to me in my office. I'm gonna talk a little bit about tail light, turn signals, all that stuff. Let's get into it.
Since we're talking about the legality, the street legality of the Tuttio, we're gonna talk about a couple things really quick. You should probably pick up. I got sent out these mirrors from a company over on Amazon. I think they would definitely look pretty nice up on the Tuttio. Not too much in my way. I gotta figure out how exactly I want to mount those. I'm not gonna put those on today, because as you know, with the Tuttio, well, the ones they sent me out, they don't have the like clamp-in system to where it just like clamps on. I have to cut my grips off, and I don't want to deal with that. Also, finally got my ramp, so we can start jumping some stuff. Let's get that put all over there. So, one of the big things with the Tuttio is that it doesn't have a tail light or a 12 volt to wire on said tail light. So what I've been working on is this rear fender that'll go on the back of the Tuttio. It has a little lip on it, and with that little lip, you can either mount like a license plate bracket to it, or just a tail light like I have right here. If you're curious, the tail light I'm using, it's that company right there. I guess not a company, it's just some words. It'll be linked down below in the description, but it has a little bracket, so you just drill a hole through the plate and put the bolt on, whatever. Once you have that on, this just clips right in there, and it'll sit perfectly just under that. I like mine kind of tucked because I don't want it just out there, but if you wanted, you could mount it a little bit lower, or just get one that goes with an actual has a actual license plate. Just make sure it fits on that little bracket, but I left it blank so you could drill your own holes in it. And this has its own little remote that comes with it, which is particularly why I picked this one. This just goes over up on your handlebars, and then you hit long hold on that. Has different lighting modes. It's actually kind of bright. And then this one also has turn signals and sounds, which is kind of cool, particularly why I picked this one. And it also has an alarm, so you can lock your bike, leave it outside, do all those things. Let's get that turned off. So we are going to get this put on the Tuttio and back out on the road. Also, make sure to check out the number plates. Those are up on the website. This should be up on the website later this week, probably. Hopefully. We'll see what happens.
Okay, we're back. Hopefully that was somewhat educational and helpful. Still getting down this whole video recording thing, but thank you for watching it. So, that's the legality of the Tuttio. We kind of talked about how the Tuttio is going to get way more expensive because of tariffs, which kind of changes its whole price to performance. Because one upside of the Tuttio was the fact that you spend $1,000 on the bike, then you spend $1,000 on the bike, $600 on a battery, a couple extra $100 on some other things, and you have like this dope ass e-bike. But even with the bike getting closer to like $1,500, it changes that price of performance like crucially. And in my opinion, I don't think the Tuttio would still be as good of a deal after the tariffs, just because like I know it's already gone up like $200 since I bought mine. At $1,300, I could still see it being reasonable because, say, you buy a Surron for like $4,000, but that comes 62 volt, 50 miles an hour. Tuttio, you spend $500, or I guess now closer to $800-900 probably. You can get 72 volt with potentially higher than 50 miles an hour, but then you also have to do a motor upgrade, because I think Surron comes stock with like a 5,000, like a 4,000 or 5,000 kilowatt motor. Tuttio comes stock with only a 2, but because of all the parts and the motors and that are made in China, currently the Socian kit for the Tuttio comes with controller motor, and all of that good stuff is currently like $650 right now, but you add the 125% tariff, you're looking at closer to $1,300 for it. So just between battery, controller, motor, all that, you're looking at closer to $3,500 with the Tuttio, and you're barely touching a Surron's capabilities, and it's a smaller platform, and you usually don't want to spend as much for a smaller platform just because, yeah, not the best. Ooh, that was kind of fun. I might do that again. But yeah, it kind of kills the whole proposition of a Tuttio, plus the fact that a lot of this bike will need to be replaced, like, because you're going to replace the handlebars, all that stuff. So yeah, long story short, I think tariffs have killed the Tuttio, and I mean, it is still an awesome budget option for those of you guys who are just looking for a budget e-bike, but it is definitely not as good of a proposition as it once was. Ooh. Which is kind of sad, because, you know, I was kind of digging this, excited to work on it, but if you're spending, even just to get it to 60 volt, 2000 watt is $1,000, and the bike's $1,300, that's going to put you at $2,400 just for the start. And there's a couple other bikes you could buy around that $2,400 mark. And like me, I'm a heavier guy, so when I'm trying to wheelie, here, let's do one. If I'm at a higher speed and I try to pop it up, the Tuttio is not going to want to give it to me. Yeah, it's not going to give it to me. That 2,000 watts is no bueno. For reference, my X2, which, if you guys don't know, the Frigo X2 is the worst. The Frigo X2 has the worst build geometry of any bike, I mean any. And I can actually kind of wheelie that thing. And literally the only reason why I can't wheelie the Tuttio partly skill and partly the fact that I'm kind of a hefty boy. So like me, when I go to wheelie the Tuttio, look at that tail light back there. Nice. When I go to wheelie the Tuttio, my butt literally, like my teabagging area sits literally right here, and because I have to get as much weight as back as possible, which is like kind of intense. Can I? Ooh. Ooh. Oh, not doing that. But all that to say, the Tuttio definitely is not a bad purchase if you're looking for your first e-bike, but when you first get it, you're definitely gonna grow out of it relatively quickly. Oh, yeah, you're definitely gonna grow out of the Tuttio really quick. For me, it's not so bad because I'll just give it to my kid or some shit and be like, there, you can ride that one. But for the most part, the Tuttio, it is a great budget buy, but Tariffs has kind of changed its proposition. And yeah, kind of sucks. I think that's the end of the video for today. Make sure you guys go like, subscribe, do all the things. Check out the faceplates and the tails on the website. And yeah, thank you for watching. Have a nice day, night, whatever, and peace out.